French, as we know, are known for their fashion and their perfumes as well. And I'm here in the Perfume Museum with Esther, who's going to tell me all about perfumes. I was so interested when the lady was talking. If you could just come slightly straight. Yes. You're very tall. I'm going to try to be... I'm going to try and match you. I'll have to tiptoe with her. So tell me, darling... perfume, when did it all start? Let's walk and talk. We are in the museum, by the way, so all you can see behind me is the history and what's happening, and while she talks, people will be able to see. Yes.
Exactly. The first people to use perfume were actually the Egyptians,
yes,
because they burned odorant materials to communicate with their gods through the smoke. And that's where the word perfume comes from, because perfumum in Latin means through the smoke.
Oh, I see. So the Egyptians were the first
Yes.
one. And they were, was it all through, how did they make it and how did they use it?
They used odorant woods and milk, honey, wine. They used to burn these to create that magical smoke, that holy smoke.
But that was only for ceremonial purposes, wasn't it?
Exactly. They were also the first cosmeticians that used coal around their eyes to protect them from the sand.
Oh, was it for
Yes,
that?
yes,
Oh,
yes,
I see.
Exactly, yes.
So all the fashion comes from necessity.
Exactly, it does in a certain way.
And now it has become necessity. So let's come this side. And tell me, then what happened to perfumes after Egyptians?
After the Egyptians, the ancient Greeks used it to embalm their deceased, but also for good luck, because they thought it was a good luck charm before fights, before wars. Then the Romans used it. They loved everything that smelled nice. They loved their thermal baths. They used essential oils and also solid perfumes. And it was the Romans, thanks to whom now we have glass that we use in perfumery to keep perfumes, yes.
Other than that, otherwise, what were they kept in?
They used to keep it in ceramics and more like solid materials. And the Romans were the first ones to use delicate glass.
Oh, I see. And carry it with them?
They didn't carry it with them. That only came in the Renaissance and in the Middle Ages in the form of pommanders, because people wanted to protect themselves from disease, and they thought that they could do that with something that smelled nice. So they used to carry it with them everywhere to protect them from disease.
Oh, I see it. So basically it all started with protecting yourself and
Yes.
for ceremony. Then when did we start using perfumes as fashion?
As fashion? Well, in fact, at the time of Louis XIV, people were still scared of disease, and they thought that water touching the skin caused disease. So they stopped washing themselves.
Oh,
And
really?
they used heavy perfumes to mask body odors. And that's when perfume also became a fashion accessory. Especially after that time, it kept evolving and evolving to what we have now.
Oh, so people didn't take baths?
They did not. The upper class, Louis XIV, took 2 baths a year. And the rest of the time, he rubbed himself off with patchouli, with rose, with heavy scents like that.
Did he? Oh, well, we can't say whether he smelled nice.
They
but
did
we?
not smell nice, no. And this was only the royals, not the lower class, only the very fancy people. They didn't bath.
Others were better
very
off.
bizarre.
So you're better off mingling with the lower class
Yes,
then?
you are. You
Brilliant.
are.
So let's go up and now find perfumes of today. So we'll go up and then we'll meet you up there. Welcome back. Let's talk about perfumes and of today. So perfume and eau de cologne I often see. What is the difference? Well, how do you say it?
Eau de cologne.
Eau de cologne.
Exactly. Well, the difference is the concentration of absolute. Absolute, that's the highest concentration of flower essences that we can get. And there's only 5% of that in an eau de cologne. There's 10% in an eau de toilette. There's 15 in an eau de parfum, and there's 25 in a real perfume. That's the highest concentration that will stay for you the longest. That's where the price difference also comes from.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
And how is it made, basically? What is the basic
There's multiple ways of extraction, multiple methods. The one most popular one is called extraction with a volatile solvent or with alcohol. And there we wash the flower petals in alcohol and let them soak in it. And then what's left, the juice, we filter, and that becomes the absolu.
Oh, I see.
Exactly.
So the concentration of that in a perfume is the most.
Exactly, yeah.
Oh, so let's walk with me, Esther, if you can.
Yes.
And let's come this side.
Yes.
And you're showing me the various perfumes.
Yes.
And give me some tips, some stuff, the how to use it, and what are the. But tell me first the various perfumes. Go on.
Okay.
Being in France, you have to talk about perfume, which we are. So let's talk about perfumes that we use it, but we don't know their actual use, isn't it? So tell me the tips quickly, Esther.
Well, the tips for a real perfume, you have to pay a little bit of attention because it is very strong. You don't want anyone to faint around you, and you don't want yourself to faint either. So you only want to apply 2 pumps on your wrist. Never rub, because rubbing creates heat. It's an enemy of the perfume, and it will break and damage your perfume. So only tap. Then behind your ears, Coco Chanel said, everywhere you want to be kissed. Then,
oh, is that so?
Exactly. For gentlemen, a good place to put it is either on the chest or on the hips, underneath the clothes. There the smell gets conserved very well, and if you give a hug, it's a very nice sensation.
And in France, they also use it on the heels, isn't it?
That's it. The secret lady tip, straight from Paris. When you wear a skirt or a dress, apply it behind your knees or on your ankles, and that way you leave a trail of scent for everyone behind you to enjoy your perfume.
That is something. So can I do this now? Let's
Yes,
quickly do
absolutely.
this. So
Should I hold this?
Yeah, you can have my mic. I can become Esther. Not as pretty as you, but there.
Thank you.
So I
exactly.
tap it
Yes.
twice. Oh, I did.
Behind your ears.
So you
Very
don't go
good.
with the perfume behind your ears.
You
With your-
can, but this way you don't use as much perfume, so your scent won't be overwhelming.
Oh, and then here.
And then
if you
here.
want here.
If you want, you can also apply it here, yes.
Perfect. So that's the way to apply the perfume. That's absolutely wonderful. So now what you need to tell me is that this bottle is different, I think, from a glass bottle that you have here.
Yes. The reason for that is because our glass bottles always contain eau de toilette or eau de parfum or eau de cologne. That's less concentration. You will use this up quicker. But when you have a real perfume, because you have to use very little, you will actually keep this for up to 10 years. A glass bottle only protects a perfume for 2 years. Here, it is protected against heat, light, and humidity, and it will be conserved for 10 years without changing the scent at all.
Wow. So tell me the 3 enemies of perfume that you were saying and how to keep a perfume for longer and better.
Well, 3 enemies, heat, light, humidity. Don't keep your perfume in the bathroom. That's not a good idea because there's light, there's humidity, there's heat. When you have a glass, don't throw away the box of the perfume. Keep it in the box. Keep it inside maybe a cupboard or somewhere where it's dark, it's chilly, not too cold. That way your perfume will conserve itself for longer.
Brilliant. But everyone keeps their perfume because the bottles are made so beautifully on their dressing table, and that's not great?
It's not ideal, but if you want to put your perfume in display, just know that you will have to use it within 2 years if you don't want it to change the scent.
Oh, seriously?
Yes.
And now we will talk about how to use a perfume the best way, because there are others as well, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
If you want the scent to stay the same as it is in the bottle, sometimes it changes on the skin, you can do the cloud of perfume directly above your head with the pump facing upwards.
Yeah, the
You
pump
just press
facing upwards.
once, just like that, and then you let it rain down on your hair and on your clothes, just like that.
You don't really feel it, but it does
No,
rain
you
down.
don't. It rains down, and here it stays even longer than on your skin.
Oh, so if you want to just smell longer, if a
You
long
apply it
night,
to your clothes.
up there.
Yes, or you can also apply it to your clothes, but from a distance because it could stain. It's so highly concentrated.
So the buying tips. So what does one person need to be careful of when buying a perfume?
Well, first of all, you want to be sure you know exactly what you're buying. So here we have perfume written on the label, that means it has 25%. It's highly concentrated. Here we have eau de toilette, so it's less concentrated. Then what you also need to know is what your perfume is going to smell like after a couple of hours of wear, which is sometimes hard to tell if you only have a couple of minutes in a shop. So that's why wear a perfume for a little bit before you decide to commit to it. Or if your perfumery offers, like we do, pre-scented paper sticks, you can also smell the base notes on these, and that's what your perfume is going to smell like after a few hours. This way you know.
Interesting. So
exactly.
you carry this with you for a few days.
Or you just smell it in the perfumery and then decide if you like this scent, because sometimes a scent can change over time and then you might not end up liking it. But here at Fragonard we offer you these pre-scented mouillettes, as they are called in French, and here you can smell the base notes.
Oh, that's absolutely exquisite. Thank you for
Thank you
giving
so
me
much.
all the information. Give me some tips for men. And their
Well,
perfume.
for men, as I said, the best places to apply is here under the chest, under the clothes, on the chest, or on the waist, because if you hug a lady, she's going to get to appreciate your perfume. But same applies for men. Here, here, distributed here. Men can also use the cloud of perfume. And what I find really important is the fact that there's feminine and masculine scents is an invention of marketing. So gentlemen, if anyone likes a scent that might be a bit more feminine, just wear it.
Oh, that's interesting. So they don't have to get stuck over by this is men and this is women.
Precisely.
So we get a lot of marketing that's not absolutely
Exactly.
right, isn't
Yes.
it? Oh, so marketing aside, this is all about perfume, and I love this rain tip the best. Yes, and the heels.
Yes.
So if you're in French, behave like French. Wear your perfume on the heels. See you soon. This is au revoir from French, in French, when you say goodbye, and I'm absolutely trash at it. My French is atrocious. But love France, love Paris. The beautiful education that I got on perfumes from this place is absolutely exquisite. How did you enjoy this? Please do write into me. Also tell me, what are the things that you were doing wrong and you didn't know about perfume, either putting it, using it, buying it, whatever. Do Twitter me at Lavina Tandon, or you can write to me on chaiChat@aajtak.com. Please do write. I do want to hear about this whole perfume myths from you. Thank you. God bless and take care. And again, au revoir from France. Bye.